What's going on, guys? Jason here, and I'm proud to present to you guys another episode of the Self-Made Show. I've had a really good time recording these interviews with all kinds of cool people from around the world. In today's episode, we are bringing you Dave Koziel. He is an entrepreneur. He is a very inspirational individual, and I say that in every episode, but I mean that in the truest sense of the word on this episode, because about a year ago, Dave was not where he is today. Dave has made a complete 180-degree transformation in not only his life, but his business. And if you watch the interview, or if you listen to the interview, you will notice me say, man, you sound and act like a completely different person in a good way. His confidence levels, his overall income, everything that you want to increase in your life, abundance, goodwill, just his transparency and the stuff that he's doing on social media, on his YouTube channel, and all kinds of other things that he's doing in his business are an inspiration to myself and hopefully to you as well, because Dave is a living example of someone who, if you're watching his channel, you might be where Dave was a year and a half ago, and watch this all the way from beginning to end, because this guy is not holding anything back. He gives away a ton of really cool tips that he's using in his business every day, a lot of good tools that he uses every single day, productivity, all that kind of stuff, and I know you guys are going to love this. So all of Dave's information will be on selfmadeshow.com, where you can check that out, or in the show notes, and also in the description down below. So I can't wait for you guys to watch this, man. You're going to love it. Drop a comment. And one thing you can do to help your buddy over here is go over to iTunes and leave a review. If you like the Self-Made Show, if you like what we're doing, bringing you guys all kinds of people from around the world, sharing their stories, sharing their insights, and doing it in a non-BS manner and just a real conversation between two people. I would love to hear your comments on iTunes, on YouTube, and all that stuff. And let me know who you want to have on. I'm going to try to reach out to as many people as I can, interview them in my own kind of way. And, I'm trying to get better at that and trying to, work all that out too. But onward and upwards. Thank you guys for watching the video. Subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff, and we will see you guys on the next show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Jason here. Welcome to another episode of the Self-Made Show. I've got a good friend on, Dave Koziel. This guy has made an amazing transformation. I've been talking to this guy for, about a year now?
Yeah, we've known each other for around a year now.
Yeah, dude. So you've come, as far as people that I've seen in the publishing business and internet marketing, you've come so freaking far. You built a huge following, so congratulations on that. And man, so how you doing, man? What's going on?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. And just like you were saying, about a year ago at this time, I think I was just starting to get to know you. I actually got your courses and I actually did some coaching with you. And I've literally grown so much over this past year, just seeing from my own life. I don't even recognize the person I am now compared to who I was a year ago.
Would you say you owe everything to me, or just like 95% of
it? Maybe like 96%. All
no,
right.
You know what, man, dude? We had a call, dude, and you I've talked to a lot of people, and I like to think that I've got some success, and dude, I gotta say, man, and you, I don't know, dude, you've made a huge leap. Like you said, I don't even, when I'm talking to you now, man, your confidence level, everything is through the freaking roof, dude. You got the swagger of Grant Cardone and Cam Newton all combined into one thing. So it's impressive.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say, because I noticed this in your story too, and one of the biggest things that I do is I like to model other successful people. And when I first found you, which was actually just on YouTube, I noticed that you kind of had a similar path that I had wanted to follow. And it's kind of funny because I actually kind of did follow in some similar footsteps to you, where we had some struggles in our younger years. You're a few years older than me. And then kind of once we got around to our 30s, or close to 30, I'm 29 now, is when success really started coming. I know you told me that happened for you, and it's been happening for me as well.
Yeah, we talked about that. You're asking me when, and I was like, man, when I was 28 or 29, that's when I flipped the switch, dude, because I tell my younger brother this all the time. I'm like, it's real cute when you're 23, 24, you go out and you're partying and getting drunk and this and that. It's kind of funny, but then when you get to 28 and 29, it gets a little more sad. Like if you're in the bars or if you're just like not doing anything with your life, it's not as fun anymore because that's like your prime. Like if you're not in your if you're in your prime and you're messing up, man, it's bad. But if you're in like your early 20s, yeah, kind of be forgivable. But now,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, man, I think you've exceeded a lot of people, man, and we're gonna talk about how you're building up your following because I think a lot of people out there, dude, can model what you're doing, and I
Mhm.
can model what you're doing, but I'm being a little lazy on some of the stuff, man. So I'm gonna jump right into some hot hitters, man, some quick hitting questions. What would be your number one productivity tip? Just like what do you do every day that is your number one most productive thing?
One of the things that I do every day, which is really, really helped me, and it's something that I just started implementing, we'll say over maybe this past summer. Right now it's January of 2016, so around summer of 2015 is actually a morning routine, but I don't want to call it necessarily the same thing that I do. Like some people talk about a morning routine, whereas they get up and they do the same exact thing every single day. My morning routine changes. Sometimes I'm traveling, sometimes I don't sleep. I sleep over my family member's house, so I can't always do the same exact thing every single day. But I set up a period whenever I first wake up of time, and during that maybe hour or two of the day, I don't do any work. There's nothing that during that period that I do that really is gonna. I don't check emails. I don't answer comments, questions. I don't do any work. It's a period of time that is just for me. Sometimes I do some meditation. Sometimes I just do some journaling, some thinking, reading, things like that, and that really helps to set up my day for success. And a lot of people might think that's counterintuitive because you usually a lot of people want to wake up and get right into whatever it is they want to do for the day. But for me, the number one productivity tip that I can give you that has helped me is the first hour or two after you wake up, take some time for yourself to take care of yourself too. One thing I throw in there too is exercising. That's another thing that I is kind of in that period of time, but it doesn't have to be the same thing every single day, but just set aside maybe an hour or two when you first wake up to take time for yourself and set yourself up to be in like a peak state, as Tony Robbins likes to call it, for the day.
Right. No, dude, you're 100% right about that. And that's been something that I've implemented too, because like I have a well documented history of not being a morning person.
Hmm.
So, for example, and this isn't about me, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about me today.
Let's go for it.
I woke up at 6 a.m. Okay,
Yeah.
if you would have talked to me about 2 years ago, or even like 5 months ago, like 6 a.m., I've been like I hadn't gone to bed yet, but woke up at 6 a.m. I went to the garage, hit a little workout, um, ate a healthy breakfast. I've taken my son to the park already.
Hmm.
Okay. Done a little journaling, done a little stuff setting up for this interview, kind of getting everything set up to go with some questions and things like that. And like that's just, and it's 11:30 in the a.m. I wouldn't have been waking up until this point in my previous life. And so, like you said, it sets you up for victory because like now I don't my stress level, and I did a little meditation, took all my dogs. I've done a lot of
Hmm.
stuff, and now I'm not stressed out about like, man, I got to do this, this, and this. Now it's business. Now it's kind of getting things done. So very good stuff. So what is your morning routine like on a? I know you switch it up, but like, can you give us kind of an example?
Yeah. So here's what I'm doing right now. And one thing I'll say about this too is I generally find it better whenever I wake up earlier, meaning that overall I'm happier, I feel more productive, but there's certain times when you can't. So there are certain times where I still do sleep until maybe 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. But whenever I wake up, I still go right into the routine,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't actually, not do it just because I slept in later. But just to give you a general idea of what I'm doing now, I wake up and right now one of the first things that I do it is the first thing I do right now is I wake up and I go in and I weigh myself. I track my weight. I'm a big believer in taking care of yourself, your health, and your fitness. And every day I track my weight. I actually have a journal that I write down my weight every single morning. Then I go and I take my vitamins. I have a morning vitamins that I take. And then I'll go back into my bedroom and I'll just sit on my bed and I'll actually meditate. Now I'm doing about 10 to 15 minutes of meditation each day. And then after I meditate, I'll actually journal for maybe about 5 minutes. I actually have a 5-minute journal that I use. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you've ever heard of it
Oh
before. I'm
yeah.
sure you have. And then I go into my laptop, and one of the things I have on my laptop, I could actually bring it up on my phone too, is I have what I call my daily goals review, which is basically just a sheet. It's not really a sheet, but it's like a document, I guess you call it, that I review every single day that has all of my goals for 2016 that I want. And not only do I keep my goals on there, I keep other things too. For example, I'll keep my exercise routine on there. So every day I'm waking up and I review my goals. I review my exercise routine. So I'm like, all right, it's a Monday. Monday is an upper body weightlifting day. I also keep track of whatever diet I'm trying to follow right then there. So, okay, I see meal one for today is going to be this. And that only takes me about 5 minutes to review. And then
That's smart.
usually after that, I'll dive into my schedule. So I'll see what do I have going on today. Like, for example, today I say, okay, at noon, I have a call with Jason, an interview with Jason. So I see what's going on so that I can plan my day out. And then after that, I'll go hit up the gym. I actually have a fitness center right in my apartment complex and work out. And then I come back from working out, breakfast, shower, and then that's when I get into work mode and start the day.
Cool, man. So you're starting a day, and I was gonna ask you too because I've seen you like on Periscope at like 2 a.m. So I figured like
Yeah,
you're being being single or not having a family and a young child, like you
yeah,
have a little more flexibility in your schedule, which is really cool, which I'm envious of, in that sense.
yeah.
So
And I want to say too, there are times, like I said, I'm up grinding till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. some nights still. That's why I said some nights I sleep in or days I sleep in till a little bit later, but I still wake up and go through the same exact thing, whether I wake up at 6 a.m. or whether I wake up at noon.
yeah, either way, I mean you're getting your day started off, so that's really
Yeah.
cool. So what would be your, I guess we kind of covered a little bit, like your just quick like 1 minute answer advice to complete newbies starting internet marketing and building their own brand.
One thing that I want to say, um, for someone who's just building their own brand, if they want to be able to get into making money online internet marketing, is that one, you're going to have to do it for a while before you start to see some success. So you're not going to know what you're going to do. You just have to get yourself out there and start doing it and put out content. Right now, the biggest way that people are able to develop a brand is from content marketing. And that means creating blog posts, videos, audio, and then just blasting it out everywhere, all over social media, anywhere that you can find. And you just have to do that for a period of time. And at first, you're not actually going to see traction. For the first few months you're doing it, no one's going to notice you except maybe some friends and family. But then after a while, you're going to start to pick up a little bit and you're going to get a following. And then it kind of just snowballs from there. So, quick tip, quick answer. If you want to get started with building a brand, internet marketing, put out lots of content and be consistent with it over a period of time. That's the number one tip I can give to people.
That's a good one, man, because you're living that. Because I want to talk
Yeah.
about how you're doing it. Do you have a schedule? Like I know you're doing YouTube. I know you're doing
Mhm.
Periscope. You're doing Periscope like every day, right?
Oh, yeah. Multiple times a day,
Yeah, you're
usually.
all like I was talking before we got on the
Uh-huh.
podcast. I'm like, dude, every was it the chirp, whistle, whatever
The
it is. I'm
whistle,
like,
yeah.
It's either Dave Koziel or Grant Cardone. You guys are like the 10x rule. Like you're almost beating Cardone right now, man. But so like it's really cool. And you're doing that. You're doing Snapchat, right? Are you
Yes.
doing Twitter? Are you doing a lot of Twitter,
Yeah, I'm actually doing daily posting on Twitter as well.
dude? And then Instagram too.
Yes, daily posting on Instagram as well as Facebook and 5 days per week on YouTube.
My lord. So how do you? Okay, so let's take it one step at a time. So how
Okay.
are you doing like Twitter and Instagram? Are you doing and Facebook? Are you doing like individual posts? Are you like how do you do that?
I have it broken down, and this actually kind of goes back to what I talked about in the beginning. My daily goals review sheet, I more or less just call it my daily review sheet. I actually have a social media plan that I have created and implemented, and I implement daily that is on that list. So every single day when I'm reviewing my goals and my weight loss stuff
Mm-hmm.
and all that, I actually have beneath that my social media plan for the day, which is the same thing that I follow every single day. And I have a certain amount of time that I allot to each social media platform. And it really doesn't have to be as much as you think. The most that I actually spend on one platform is around half hour to an hour, and that's on Periscope. I guess you could say I spend about the same on YouTube too. But for example, like Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, I may maybe spend 10 minutes to 15 minutes the most per day on each of those. And I also use some features with them that allow me to kind of do two for one. For example, I'll post a picture on Instagram, and I'll usually just do a Google search or use a site called Canva.com,
Mm-hmm.
Canva.com. I don't know if you've ever used that before, heard
Yeah.
of it. And I'll create a little graphic for my Instagram, and then I'll select the option to have it posted to my Facebook too. So, and then I'll spend about 5 minutes creating a nice little description, writing my own little touches on the Instagram picture. And then that automatically posts to Facebook for me. And I got content on two social media platforms um, in one, the time that I did to do one. So that's kind of a little trick I use with Instagram and Facebook to be able to kind of do two things at one time.
That's cool. I know they have that set up. Are you using like Hootsuite too?
Not right now. Right now, I'm just manually managing it all on my own. And
Okay.
one thing I want to say too is that with that, it's very, very important. If I just posted a picture on Instagram and then automatically had that post to Facebook, I wouldn't get as much of, I should say, a response from my Facebook people. So it's really important that you take an extra 5 minutes and kind of write, I don't want to call it a post, but whenever you're uploading a picture onto Instagram, you can write a little description there. Literally take 5 minutes and write a few hundred words there, and when that posts onto Facebook, people will actually read that too. And you want to try to come up with a way to get them engaged so that they're going to leave you a comment back on Facebook. That's what my goal is. I'm trying to get people to engage with my content. I'm not just pushing it out to pushing it out.
Right.
It's all based upon trying to get engagement back from people.
That's cool, man. I see a lot of the guys. Like, I mean, obviously, if you've read the 10x rule, which I know you
Yeah.
have, like Grant Cardone's like, I'm going to post 20 times a day, and
Yep.
I'm just going to go. And which, I mean, you're not doing, but I mean, you're still hitting every day. And I've seen your following go from, pretty respectable to like now, like every time you're getting engaged in all kinds of different ways. So that's cool. So I think myself and a lot of people out there, content creators, can take a page out of your playbook and do that, man. So where did you get this? I mean, was it Grant Cardone inspired you, or like how did you say, man, you know what? Because you were doing YouTube, right? A
Yeah.
lot, but now you're everywhere. So what inspired you to go to everywhere?
The person who actually inspired me to do that was Pat Flynn. He kind of has this motto called like be everywhere, and he's kind of had that for a few years now. Grant
Right.
Cardone is a big guy with that too. But if I actually had to name one person whose internet business that I would like to model the most, it would be Pat Flynn. And to give people who don't know who Pat Flynn is, he runs a blog, smartpassiveincome.com, and he has a $1 million per year business. He does very well, but he also lives a very, very good lifestyle too. He actually said in one of his podcasts that he works on average about 25 hours per week. Sometimes more, like if he has a launch coming up and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's kind of where I want to be. I love Grant Cardone. I love him and Gary Vaynerchuk, guys like that who are just hustling crazy. But truthfully, I don't have aspirations to have $100 million business. I'm cool if I can get to $1 million per year business and be able to have freedom. That's the number one thing that's most important to me.
Right. I mean, you're on your way, dude. Like you've got your podcast too. You call it the Dave Koziel Show. So originality isn't your forte, and that I'm just messing with you.
No, not at all.
I like it though, and that let's talk a little bit about that too, because that's another way you're getting your content out there. The Dave Koziel Show, right? What the hell? I messed your name up. So what is that? That's on Periscope or is that on YouTube?
I do it on both. So anytime that one cool tip I can tell you is that always try to find ways to maximize, two platforms at one time. Just like I told you with Instagram and Facebook. Well, anytime I do what I call my Dave Koziel show, which is basically just a live stream for me on YouTube, not only am I also doing that on Periscope, so while I'm live streaming on YouTube, I'm also live streaming on Periscope, but I also take that content, I download the audio file, and I upload it to an actual podcast that people can listen to on iTunes and whatever the other Google Play Store, whatever it is else that you can download podcasts from.
Okay.
But I'm literally taking one period of time, 1 hour of my time, whatever it is, half hour, and I'm able to get that across three platforms of content. And that's the type of thing that you always want to be looking for in seeing how you can maximize your time best to be able to put out a lot of content like I have been.
That's cool, man. So basically, let's talk about that because that the technical aspect. So you're live streaming,
Yeah.
so you got your webcam, right?
Yes.
Are you doing it on your phone?
Yes, on YouTube I'm live streaming from my webcam. From Periscope, I'm doing it from my phone, and the setup is it's kind of like it's not anything super sophisticated. It really comes down to I have two tripods, and one tripod will hold my phone, and usually the other one will hold my webcam. And I kind of have to. I have lighting too.
Hmm.
I have lighting that I move around my apartment. It's all done for my apartment, and I really don't do anything crazy. I think maybe some people think that you might have to have some expensive setup, but literally, I don't know if I've spent more than maybe $100 or $200 on all the equipment I have to do that, besides my phone, which you could say is worth more than that.
Right.
But it's pretty simple, and I even do stuff like this. This is a quick little tip. Sometimes whenever I'm doing the live stream from my webcam and I want to do a screen share, which I usually do screen shares sometimes from YouTube, and YouTube can see that, but they can't always see it on Periscope. So what I'll actually do is I'll literally turn my phone around and record my monitor so that the people on Periscope can actually see my screen share just from me like literally pointing my phone at
Okay.
my monitor. So you kind of have to do little tricks like that, and I'm sure there might be a better technological way to do it, but the simple things like that, they can save you whenever you're first getting started. You don't need money. You can just literally, okay, I'm just going to turn my phone around and actually record my monitor as I'm doing the screen share.
That's why I tell people, and I learned this from watching Casey Neistat. Have you heard of
Yeah,
him?
yeah, I know Casey.
Casey's a great. Well, I mean, the dude's insane as far as his productivity and his filmmaking is second to none as far as I'm concerned. But he's like, look, he goes, pick a bad movie, like a big production like Geely with Ben
Yeah,
Affleck and whatever, right? And he's like, they have that's a 20 million, $30 million budget. They've got cameras better than you could ever afford. The movie
yeah,
sucked, but then you have a movie like, and this is kind of dating myself, but like the Blair Witch Project. They were
yeah,
shooting on like just basic cameras. Very captivating movie. So it's about the story. It's about what you're talking about, and that's the biggest advice I give to people. They're like, Jason, what camera should I get? I got a $700 camera behind me. I never use because it's
yeah,
like it's a pain in the ass to use it. Why not just pick this damn thing up, this phone up, and
yeah.
boom, and you can have a viral video. You can have a great video. So that's cool. So like you're doing the Periscope, and you're probably kind of like me, where when you live stream on YouTube, it's like a ghost town. But like Periscope, I see your Periscope's always got people on there, right?
Yeah, I actually surprisingly kind of I get more people on Periscope, but I think that it's because of the fact that it's a lot easier to access quickly on your phone, because the
Right.
way Periscope works is you get a notification, and it's literally just a quick click of a button, and you can be watching me live, and it's right from your phone, so you can be anywhere. If YouTube had something similar like that, which I'm not sure why they don't come up with, because I think they would crush everyone
Yeah.
if they did, like Meerkat, Periscope. But YouTube, you actually have to go open the YouTube app, actually click on to see who's live streaming. It's more of a process. But on my live streams on YouTube, if I schedule them out ahead of time, I can get anywhere from maybe 50 to 70 people if I schedule them.
Right.
If I just do a random one when no one knows what time it is, I maybe get maybe between 10 to 20 people watching me live. And that's with the YouTube channel. As of right now, I have maybe 4,500 subscribers, something along those lines, which really is pretty small for a YouTube channel. Um, and then Periscope, I have a I'm closing in on maybe 700 to 800 people who follow me on Periscope right now. And every time I go live, depending on what I do with the hashtags or how I create the title, that's one quick tip I can give you, that your title for Periscope is very important. It's sort of like the headline or subject to an email. You want to be able to entice people to want to come watch what you're doing. But depending on how I structure that, I can get anywhere from 20 to 50 people watching me live on Periscope, just like that, just from
Yeah.
instantly going live without any prior notice.
I like that. And what's cool is even though you're not getting a ton of live when you do an impromptu live YouTube show,
Yeah.
there's still that goes on your channel, which people will then watch.
Yes.
So that's kind of the whole point for those of you guys watching. I used to do that too with I had a Sunday show that I would do every night at 8 p.m.
Yep.
that I just for whatever reason I stopped doing it. But yeah, I mean that's really cool. And with Periscope, when you're doing, I see you do a lot of hashtags with like Periscope,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you're doing within Twitter, or is that in like the Periscope app itself?
So the way that the hashtags work with Periscope is that whenever you go live on Periscope, you can have it automatically post on Twitter. And one thing that Twitter just integrated is you can actually watch live video from Periscope within the actual Twitter feed now. They just started doing that last week. So whenever you actually are creating your title for your Periscope, whatever you want to call what you're about to do, if you put hashtags in there, that automatically gets posted to Twitter, and then people can discover your live stream through hashtags. And
Right.
that is what I'm using right now. I have a decent sized audience, like I said, from people who followed me from YouTube who come over to Periscope. But I'm actually getting a lot of new people. Every time I do a new Periscope, I get about 5 new followers just organically from within Periscope and Twitter by using hashtags and
That's
people
really
that are
cool.
discovering me.
And
Yeah.
they find you at Dave Koziel, right?
Yeah, so the way that they'll find me is they'll either be on Periscope, and you can actually search on Periscope by region. So say that I'm the only one. This is a cool thing that I did too. Sometimes I'll do a Periscope maybe like 3 or 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and a lot of people from other countries who it's a different time. I'll actually be the only person around my area because there's a map that Periscope shows you, and it'll show you that there's 20 people live streaming right now from Pennsylvania. Like there'll actually be a little dot on the map that shows you where people are periscoping
Right.
from. And if I'm the only one periscoping from that region, if I do when I do it at like 3 or 4 in the morning, I get all these people who are from other countries who are awake, who don't have anything to do, I guess, or wanna watch live content on Periscope, come into my scope. So I've actually had a lot more success doing it kind of late at night than I
Mm-hmm.
would, for example, in the afternoon, like 12 noon or something along those lines.
Because a lot of people are doing it, and so that's cool. Like, you're getting an international audience, and because a lot of them are way ahead of us. So it's like Australia. It's like Friday right
Yeah,
now, basically. So,
yeah.
but they can follow like your Twitter handle is at Dave Koziel, right?
Oh yeah, that's how people can find me.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah,
So if you guys right now pause this and go follow Dave, and I'll put all the links down there below because you
yeah.
got some good stuff, man. Like every day, you're putting stuff out, answering questions, and it's a great way to interact with you and stuff, man. Because pretty soon your coaching is going to be like $20,000 a session, like Tony Robbins. Actually, I think it's like $1 million an hour. I don't know what it's a couple 100,000
Yeah.
for Tony to sit down and tell you that you need to fucking quit eating donuts and fucking get your life right. You know what I mean? So you guys can pay me if you're considering Tony Robbins. You can pay me, man. I will tell you exactly what you need to hear to get going. But so man, dude, you're giving away a lot of good stuff, man. I'm loving that you're. Because sometimes I talk to people, man, and they're kind of like, "Oh, I don't want to." Like you're
Yeah.
giving content, and that's like the name of your game, dude. Like you don't f around. You're like, I'm gonna give you your listeners, your audience content, and I think that's one big reason why people love you. And then there's certain other people out there that are kind of keeping this mystique, this kind of facade they put up, but they're not. They're just kind of a lot of fluff, and you give the goods away.
Yeah, one of the things about me, I do this pretty often. I'll ask my audience whether it's live on Periscope or on YouTube. I'll say, "Tell me the first 3 words that come to your mind whenever you think of Dave Koziel." And I do that exercise to sort of get a gauge for what it is that my audience thinks about me and what they like about me. And one of the 2 most common ones that come up are honesty and transparency. And I love those. Those are
Right.
those are the 2 that I want to continue to have come up because, like you said, a lot of people out there just give fluff. They don't really tell it like it is, whether it's good or bad. And that always bothered me growing up because as someone who always wanted to have an online business and make money online, I was trying so hard to just get the truth out of someone. I wanted someone to just be like, "Tell me the truth. Like, how much can you really make by doing this?" Or "Tell me the truth. What is the strategy that you're using to actually make this happen and be successful?" And I just couldn't find it. And I decided that I was always going to be completely honest and transparent about everything I'm doing, and it's really, really worked out for me. And don't get me wrong, there are some people out there who take advantage of my honesty and transparency. There are some people who, I still get quote unquote haters and things.
I heard you had to smack a hater down this week, man. We can talk a little bit about that too, but I
Yeah,
had to as well, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah,
yeah, I saw that for you as well. But just being, I truly think that with everything that's going on now as far as technological advances with social media and everything like that, I feel like privacy is just not even going to exist anymore. That the way to go is just to be honest and transparent, and don't try to hide stuff because people are going to find it anyways. I mean, I can Google Jason Brock and probably find a ton of stuff out about you that I could not necessarily use badly, but you know what I'm saying. Just to be able to
yeah.
find
I mean,
find out tons about you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a very open society that we live in, and it's good and bad. You know what I mean? So the only thing I'm really truly fearful in my life is if anonymous comes after me for some reason. Like if I piss them off in some way and they
Yeah.
just like decide they want to ruin my life. I mean, those are some bad dudes, man. But when I think of Dave Koziel, I think of one bad motherfucker. That's the words that I would give when I come on there, because
Thanks, man. I'll take that.
that's what I would be aiming for every time. I would be scared to ask what people think of me. They'd be like, "Dude, you're a fucking asshole. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?" Oh my god, dude. No, so look, what book? One book, man. You gotta give, dude, to somebody. Whatever. I don't matter if they're internet marketers or what. What would you recommend?
I actually have it right here. I'll bring it up real quick. See, boom. This is the first book, The Magic of Thinking Big by
Okay.
David Schwartz. My dog chewed it, so that's why it's a little tattered up. But the reason I say this book is because I got this book whenever I was in high school. And this was kind of at a time where I was just developing and just learning about kind of just self development and the possibilities. And this book really changed my life. After I read this book, I was like, wow, big things are actually possible from little people. And that's kind of what this book talks about, which is The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. or David Schwartz. He is a PhD. I don't know if he's actually you call him Dr.
I think
David.
you do call him doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he talks about how that it's all about your mindset and thinking big, that even a little person, and he goes on to give stories and examples of this, little people can do big things if they have a big enough mindset. So that would be my recommendation of a book for everybody.
I've heard you say that before, and it obviously looks like you're continuously reading that to sharpen up the sword a little bit, right? Like you're continuously going back to that book.
Yeah, there's actually a couple chapters that I really, really like. Just to kind of quickly give you a quick story. In the beginning, he talks about a story about how there was this engineering work that needed done by this big company wanted it done, and they put out a job posting, and all these big engineering firms applied for it. It was like a huge, huge deal. And the one that ended up getting it was the smallest engineering firm that applied for the job, which had, I think, three people. And these three people were competing against other engineering companies that had hundreds and hundreds of employees. And just reading that story every single time motivates me to think that just because I came from a very kind of humble, kind of lowly beginning, I know that you came from the same way, that I can still do big things in my own life. I can still compete with some of these bigger people out there that had a better starting point in their life than I did.
Definitely, man. I mean, you hear it all the time of companies and individuals that take on giants, and
Mm,
because you're nimble, man. When you're a big company, a big
yeah.
organization, it's hard to get going. There's a lot of things that have to happen to get the ball rolling. So that's cool, dude. I downloaded it on Kindle, man, and I switch between like 20 books, man. So
Yeah.
I need to sit down and go through that whole thing. So you talked about some humble beginnings. What's the worst job you've ever had?
That's a good question. I had this one job where I was a dishwasher for 3 months, and I know that doesn't sound like too bad of a job, but the reason that it sounds like a bad job is because there was one. The reason I'm telling you this story is because there was one point. It was actually this like kind of real dingy, crappy restaurant, and the boss was just a jerk.
Right.
He paid me under the table, and he would make me stay and not pay me any extra. Like I got a set amount every day. Like come lots of BS like that. But one day, I can't even believe he asked me to do this. They have a basement, like crappy basement, like uneven floor, like made out of rock or whatever, cement, crap, whatever it is.
Uh,
Nothing nice about it. It was just literally a crappy basement. And he made me go mop the basement. And I was like, are you serious? Customers, no one goes in this basement, and you're gonna make me mop it? Like I could take like a piss on the floor right now and no one would even notice, and you're making me mop it. So that memory I'll never forget. And I actually quit that job after about 3 months, and that was just something that I'll never go back to being a dishwasher again because of that.
yeah, dude, that's definitely that's a pretty cool story. Yeah, like it sounds like he was trying to like abduct you down in that basement or something, dude, or like But yeah, that's weird, dude. Anytime someone tells me to mop a basement floor, I'm getting the hell out of that job or getting the hell out of that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've had some crazy jobs. I've washed dishes before too, dude. Definitely, it sucks. I mean, so a big thing I talk about on my channel is like quit your effing job, or at least if you're not in love with if you love your job, by all means. But a lot of people that we talk to are trying to like be independent and not have to go, punch a clock. So it's kind of what we, at least
Hmm.
what we try to instill in people. So, um, man, so you obviously you're not washing dishes anymore unless
Hmm.
it's in your apartment. But
Yeah.
so you live in Pittsburgh, right? Or outside of
Yes.
Pittsburgh?
I live in Pittsburgh, PA. Yeah.
Do you like it there? Is it pretty cool?
One thing I'll say, besides the weather, I love it. I love the culture. I love the people. I love my family and friends here. The only thing that I don't like about it is basically the months right now, January and February and March, because of the weather. But my goal is that I'm going to have a beach house someday, somewhere warm. And during those months, I'm going to head there.
That's smart. I was talking to Sean Pi Stewart, and he
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna live in Bali, Indonesia for 6 months, and then I'm gonna move or live in Canada for 6 months. Which that interview is really good, and that'll be up on the channel. So do you know where you want to live, like internationally, or is it just in Florida or like something like that?
I haven't fully thought it out just yet. One thing I can say about me though is my goal in life isn't to be some type of big baller millionaire who has expensive homes and houses and cars and things like that. I'm more about freedom. So my goal is, if you've ever read the book The Millionaire Next Door, which is another book that I recommend to
Yeah, that's a good
people,
one too.
uh, it talks about how basically the most regular average millionaires are people who live next door to you that you don't even realize are millionaires. And that's kind of what my goal is. So if I got a beach house, it would be somewhere that was very affordable and that wasn't going to require maybe a lot of upkeep. I don't want anything. I don't want people to think that I'm going to buy some $1 million beach house. I'm talking like $100,000 beach house on some maybe nice place where it's warm, maybe in Florida, or I don't know where exactly, but that's kind of what I'm thinking in
That's
my
where you're
head.
going towards. That's a good idea, man. I love that. I moved out of the Midwest to get down here to some warmer weather,
Yeah.
which in Austin it gets pretty cold too, but it's like 60 degrees right now, so I can't complain. And it's January 25th. Geez, I was going to ask you. So we talked about Periscope, which I'm fascinated by, man. I
Yeah.
I told you before, and I'll save that because I want to save that for after the call because I got a good idea for you. But um, Snapchat, you mentioned you're doing really well on Snapchat, which like
Yes.
I know nothing about. I mean, I know a little bit about it, but can you talk a little bit about your strategy there and how you're gaining a following on there?
Yeah, one thing about Snapchat, which is intriguing, is that it doesn't have a discover feature, meaning that you can't organically discover someone else through hashtags or anything with Snapchat. So you have to drive traffic in from outside sources to get people to follow you. So, for example, if I say, like on this video, I say, follow me on Snapchat, my username's at Dave Koziel, which that's what it is, it's just Dave Koziel. I have to do that to be able to get people to follow me, and they have to
Right.
go directly to the app, type in my name, Dave Koziel, and follow me. But the cool thing about it is you can interact with people on two different ways that is really, really powerful. One is with what they call a story. So all throughout the day, I could take my phone, which I have, just right here, and I
Yeah.
could shoot like a 5-second video and it adds it to what's called a story. And in that story, which stays live for 24 hours, anyone who's a friend with me on Snapchat can go watch that. So take this in consideration. Say that I had 1,000 people that I'm friends with on Snapchat, which really isn't that hard to do. I could create a story where not only am I showing people what I'm doing throughout the day, giving them value, things like that, but say that I wanted to promote a course that I have. Well, I just shoot a 5-second video telling people to go to this site to get my course or explaining about my course, and I could have 1,000 eyeballs viewing that on Snapchat, all throughout the day or for the 24 hours that's available. So I think that's really cool. And that's just only one part of it. That's just actually kind of the promotion side of it. The other thing that's really cool about Snapchat is that you can directly message people that you're friends with. So
Right.
I can use it as a really great way to very easily interact with my audience. And I can actually even send them quick videos. And that's something I've been doing. So, say, for example, I get people who send me messages on Snapchat asking me a question. maybe I'm like in the grocery store. I pull out my phone real quick, and instead of even just typing them back, I record like a 10-second video as I'm grocery shopping, answering their question for them. And one, it's quicker for me to do that. And two, people were like, oh, sweet, I just got a video from Dave answering my question. It's a
That's
lot
cool.
more of a better connection than just answering an email or something. So those are kind of some cool things I'm doing with Snapchat right now.
I need to get on there. I'll be honest with you, man. When I'm thinking of Snapchat, all I'm thinking about is like boobs. Like
Yeah.
that's like originally what it was for, like chicks and I'm assuming dudes sending like their genital pictures to people, right? So now it's I think morphed into like a business, a huge like cool business. What's the strangest picture you've ever had someone send you like that's like a follower of yours?
Dude,
I mean, you can be honest with me, man. If it's too crazy, I'll edit it out. But
no, it actually isn't anything as bad as you would think. Truthfully, nothing too crazy. I do get some girls that Snapchat me some stuff. Nothing as crazy as you would think, but um, one thing that's kind of weird. No, I don't want to say weird in a way, but I get a lot of people. They're Snapchatting me. They Snapchat them watching like my videos and stuff on YouTube, and I get that a lot. And it doesn't. And not that that's weird, but it's just kind of makes it's like this weird kind of like other dimension type feeling where it's like I'm seeing people Snapchat them watching a video of me while they're working, while they're in their car, while they're sitting in their living room, and it's just kind of like weird in a little
so they're
bit.
like they got the video camera and they're like, "Hey, I'm watching your video." So
Yeah,
that's kind of
exactly.
cool, man. So
Yeah, it is.
I know there's some crazy stuff, man. Well, I'm sure there's got to be something crazier than that, but I won't pry too hard because I don't get on Snapchat. I would get in trouble. I would do something
Yeah,
dumb or something like so. I don't. I mean, I'm married, so I can't. I gotta kind of defer. But
yeah.
I think it's definitely cool, man. You're like the social media maven. Is there any other? I mean, we talked about a lot of them, but is there any like emerging ones that you have your eye on?
I think that right now the one that I would pay the most attention to is Snapchat because it's kind of a newer. It's been around for a few years now, but I just saw a statistic yesterday when I was doing some research that overall the amount of people who are currently using Snapchat for business is like 2%. It's
Yeah,
extremely low. And right now it's kind of a situation where you can land grab. You can get people to you can kind of be the premier person in your niche on Snapchat. And a lot of people who are early adopters to other social media like YouTube, even Periscope, Twitter, the earlier you can get in and get people to start following you, the better that you're going to do 3 to 5 years from now, whenever Snapchat is huge and you already have that huge following.
yeah.
So I would really say focus the most on Snapchat. I mean, there's a couple other ones that I would really not say that are anything to be reckoned with or that you need to pay attention to, but Snapchat is what I'd say.
Snapchat, yeah, when I knew that it was like something I should look at was when I was
Mhm.
watching an NBA game and I seen it like in
Yeah.
their thing. I was like, dude, the NBA's using Snapchat. That's crazy. So maybe I need to take a look at that. I definitely want to do some Periscope because like I'm a video guy, dude. Like
Mhm.
I'm not a blogger. I don't like to write blog posts. I don't like to
Mhm.
sit here and but like video is my number one recommendation, and you're like completely blowing my mind on what you can actually do with like the
Mhm.
multitasking. Like you're filming, you're like yeah. So that's cool. I think a lot of people will like that. So I think a lot of people know your story. So we're not going to
Mhm.
delve. I mean, maybe they don't, but I mean, dude, you got your story on your channel, and I'm highly
Mhm.
recommend anybody watching this go on YouTube. Right? Would that be your first place to say, hey, man, this is where you can find out a lot about Dave, or go to your blog, or what?
Yeah, I literally have my entire story of how I went from quitting my job in June of 2014 to all the struggles, all the businesses I tried in between to where I am now on videos on my YouTube channel. I think
Yeah.
I have 200 and some videos now of me. So that is the best way to kind of learn about me and what I do, what I've done and what I'm doing. But also, if you go to davekoziel.com, I do have kind of that's my hub as far as all of my social media goes. So if you want to be able to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you can find all of those just from going to davekoziel.com.
Cool, and I'll put those in the show notes. But we're not done yet, man. We're
Yeah.
not we're not we're not done shutting the interview, man. That was just a transition. Um, so what's your deal now, man? Are you working on what do you got in the pipeline? I know you're always working on stuff. Can you talk a little bit about kind of your next couple months, what you're focused on?
Yeah, so a lot of you who are going to be watching this probably know me from Kindle Publishing. So you know that I've been very successful with it. Over the past few months, I've literally made between $20,000 to $30,000 from Kindle Publishing, and it's fantastic. I'm grateful for it. I love it. I finally figured out how to make that successful. And now I'm kind of in a position where I'm looking to transition, not necessarily out of Kindle publishing, but I want to focus on finding ways to myself make money outside of Amazon and be able to help people at the same time. Because that's where it kind of goes hand in hand. Is that for me to be happy in what I'm doing, I have to be helping people, and I also have to be able to support myself and make money from doing it. So a couple of things I'm going to be doing over these next few months is I'm going to be basically taking all of my knowledge that I've learned from Kindle Publishing over the past year and a half, and I'm going to be creating courses. I already have one out now, but I'm going to be creating a couple more that kind of literally I'm just trying to brain dump all the knowledge I have into a couple courses. I'm also going to be offering some coaching. I do it very sparingly now, depending on how much time I have, but I'm going to be reopening that. And then I'm also going to be kind of going into other ways that I make money online, trying to teach people how I make money online from affiliate marketing, how I've used my YouTube channel to be able to grow my brand and make money from that, and how I'm using all of these social media platforms we talked about to be able to make money. And I kind of want to give people a broader picture of what my business actually looks like and how they can go about doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's and it's cool because you show how much you can change in a year as far as your
Yeah.
business and your lifestyle. And the same thing kind of happened to me where I didn't know anything about publishing, any of this stuff. But in a year I was doing well, and I think hell, I think it was last month or the month before you cracked what 30,000 a month on Kindle.
If you added all of my income that I made outside of Amazon, meaning from courses, affiliate marketing, coaching, and you added it with what I made with Kindle Publishing, yeah, I made over 30,000 in 1 month.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure
It is crazy.
your parents and your friends are like, "Damn." I'm sure you had some doubters in the beginning. Then they're like, "Damn, Dave, what? Show me how to do it." Like that's seems to be the transition a lot of people have.
Yeah, I actually had a cousin of mine come over my apartment 2 weeks ago, and literally I spent the whole day with him, showing him how I make money with Kindle Publishing and the other ways I make money online too. But yeah, it's kind of gotten to this point now where it's like truthfully, 30,000 in a month's great, but in all complete honesty, that's way more money than I actually need per month. So I'm not actually. My goal isn't to say like, all right, now I need to make 40,000, 50,000. I do want to make more, but I also want to make sure that I'm doing the things that I love to do, that I'm helping people, and that I'm living life the way I want. And if I can do all of that and still increase the amount of money that I'm making, then that's what the goal is. And I think that I can do that. But I'm not someone who's going to say that I'm going to continue to make $30,000 every single month. Next month, I might make $10,000. I might make $20,000. I'm not going to probably make $5,000. But the point I'm trying to
Right.
make is that you kind of get a standard. And for me, that lower point is kind of maybe around the $10,000 per month mark. And then your income's going to fluctuate a little bit. And I'm okay with that. So I don't want people to think that Dave Koziel's making like 30 grand a month every single month. I want people to really know that it's not always going to be that much, that it's going to fluctuate.
Yeah, there's a lot of peaks and valleys, and there's going to be great months, and there's going to be months where you haven't done as well. But it's the sum of all the parts, and I think the most important thing that I like about what you're doing is you're having fun, dude. Like I noticed, man, like a lot of people
Yeah.
that I follow, it seems like when they're doing content, it's kind of like a grind, and
Mm.
then they like just completely fall off or just you can tell. But like when you do your stuff, dude, it seems like unless you're faking it, man, but I don't think you are. You're having a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, man, I live a great life. And not only do I actually talk about business stuff and things like that, but I also, on Periscope, I show me at parties with my friends, I show me with my family. Just on the other night, I was out bowling with my family, having some drinks, having a good time. I was like Snapchatting the whole
I
time.
like that. I've seen you do
Yeah,
that. It's cool. That's
yeah.
so cool. You're like kind of like how Ty Lopez and some of those guys do with the. Yeah, I mean, it gives you another, I guess you could say, an insight into kind of how you do things, man, which is
Yeah.
cool. So, we talked a little bit about before we start recording, you're doing Cardone University.
Yes.
I mean, can you explain a little bit about what that is and how, if it's been helping you at all?
Yeah, Cardone University, for those of you who don't know Grant Cardone, he's like the self-proclaimed best salesman in the world. Uncle G,
Yeah, Uncle
calls
G.
himself Uncle G, but he has this university called Cardone University, which is, for lack of a deeper explanation, is sales training. But you might be thinking, well, I'm not in sales, I don't need to do that. But it's much more than just a quote unquote sales training. A lot of people don't realize that in every area of your life, you need to have you is affected by persuasion and sales, whether it be you negotiating with someone over your cable bill, whether it be for a new car or home purchase, or whether it just be trying to get one of your friends or family or girlfriend or spouse or whatever to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that skill set right there to be able to sell and be persuasive is very, very important. And what this course does is it kind of takes you and teaches you the exact blueprint that Grant Cardone learned to be able to not only be successful in business as far as sales goes, which anyone who is an entrepreneur knows that the number one lifeline of your business is sales and marketing. You're not going to make any money if you
Right.
don't if you don't have any sales. And it teaches you not only that from a business perspective, but like I said, it also teaches you about how to handle that in other situations of your life, like I mentioned, with friends, family, dealing with the cable person, stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually went to because one of my previous jobs was I was a car salesman, and
Yeah.
Grant, that was his like first deal. Like
Yep.
he continues. I mean, his programs are in all the dealerships, and the dealerships like, hey, if you want, we'll send you over to this Cardone guy's seminar. And I've heard him before, dude, and he's good, man. And
Mm,
now he's taking it to the new level with the 10x rule, which has been something that like I recommend everybody check that out.
yes.
I mean, especially the audiobook, because if have you heard the audiobook yet?
No, I haven't.
You got to listen to that, dude, because it's him actually doing it, but he's going off
Uh,
on like tangents the whole time, and like he's telling, like, it's really good.
I love that.
Yeah, and it has really changed the way I look at things because it's like, so many times people are. We're in a mastermind group, and I said I want to make 1,000 YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were busting my balls, and I actually fell back on that. It's like, you know what, maybe I'll do 300, but it's like,
Yeah.
fuck it, why not do 1,000? But if they're good, if it's just a quick tip, just something I'm doing, what would be better? Would it be better to do 1,000, or would it be better to do 300? You know what I mean? What's going to get me more market penetration? How am I going to get more viewers? How am I going to get more views on YouTube? If I did 1,000 videos, and I mean, again, we're talking, if I do 1,000 videos, dude, like some of them are not going to be like top flight, but that would probably what Grant would do. You know what I mean? He would do 1,000 freaking videos or something like that. So
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Is I would be the one who would lean towards doing 1,000 videos too, and I would be completely okay with the fact that, you know what, some of these aren't going to be amazing. It's just a matter of one. I think that there's something that comes into play with getting into the habit of posting that much content and getting used to it. But also, just like you said, just getting yourself out there constantly. Grant actually teaches this in the course. I believe it's somewhere between 8 to 12 times that you have to get in front of a person before that you can sell to them. So you figure you're posting one video per day, and all they're doing is subscribe to you on YouTube. They're seeing you one time per day. However, if you're doing three per day, they're seeing you 3 times per day. You're going to get that much closer to a sale by doing that than by posting one video per day. Even if you shoot a video that's 2 minutes long and it's you talking about a quote that you read in a book and kind of giving a quick little summary of that.
right.
And to that, yeah, I actually kind of did mess with you a little bit when I said 1,000 videos, really, man. But it's possible, and I kind of agree with that philosophy too. Is just max it out. Don't worry about what other people think. Just don't worry about, oh, my content has to be perfect. Just put it out there. Just push, push, push. Keep pushing it out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to work out better for most people than trying to be perfect.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. And the biggest thing that I find people get worried is what other people think about them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they're always worried about
Hmm.
in life or in on video, like what people think. And I've had people say crazy stuff to me. It was like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you look like or whatever. If you're having fun doing what you're doing and you're helping people, that's kind of where I've kind of put my mentality in it now. You know what I mean? I've had people call me crazy, whatever, and I'm sure you've had some funny. Well, I want to talk about that too
Yeah.
before I go off on a crazy,
Uh-huh.
stupid tangent. You had a guy call you out the other day,
Yeah.
and you've probably had some other people call you out, but you
Yeah.
chose to deal with this guy.
Yeah.
Can you go over how that kind of went down, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so this one guy, one day I check my YouTube comments every day, and one day I was checking them, and I had 3 comments on multiple videos from one guy telling me that, calling me out, saying, Dave, show your numbers. Dave, when are we going to see the numbers? Dave, I want to see the numbers. Literally three comments, and for those of you who don't know, for someone to leave 3 comments on 3 videos in one day like that, that's kind of a lot. So it stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple things that I want to say about that is I made a post about it public on my Facebook for a couple reasons. One, because I wanted to teach people, and also two, because if he follows me on Facebook, I kind of wanted to, truthfully, kind of embarrass him a little bit because he was acting like an idiot. And the reason, first lesson I wanted to teach people was to be able to make sure that you get all the facts first and don't make an assumption, because he was commenting on videos to show my numbers that I actually did show my numbers in, but he just didn't watch long enough into the video to see the point where I do show my numbers. So
Right.
right off the bat there, it's like, you know what, man, hey, if you would have watched for 2 seconds, 2 minutes longer, you would have saw him, but you made an assumption and then you went off of that assumption. So don't do that. That's a bad move. And then the second thing I wanted to teach people was that I guess a few days later, he actually realized that in one of my videos, in all of my videos, actually, I show my numbers, and he
Mm-hmm.
saw them, and he still didn't believe them. He commented back to me like some BS about, I don't know what, he just didn't believe him still. And I wanted to show people that you do not want to have that mindset. The first thing, and when you see someone who has big numbers, your first reaction shouldn't be to write a comment trying to get them to prove it more. It should be, one, how did this person do it, and how can I learn from them how to do it? That's what comes to my mind. Is
Right.
like, I'm not trying to say, you know what? Oh, wait, I don't think that's real. I'm like, wait a minute, how can I learn how to do this? Like, that's my immediate reaction, and that's what yours should be too. You want to go in, whether or not theirs is real, it doesn't matter. Their life's not going to be affected, and your life isn't going to be affected. If it's real or fake. What's going to matter is if you believe that you can't get those numbers, then you're never going to get them. But if you believe that you can, then and you actually put in the work and all the other following stuff, then you can actually come close to or achieve or succeed those same exact numbers that you see.
Yeah. No. That was my message too. So so you did a response video to this guy, right?
Oh, I made an Instagram post and a Facebook post, basically just kind of publicly putting it out there and explaining what I just explained to you. And I didn't do a video about it because I didn't really care too much to, but
Right.
I more or less wanted to teach a lesson to other people and maybe kind of like embarrass him a little bit if he sees it, on my
Mm-hmm.
Facebook or whatever. But just to show people, don't be like that. Trust me. When I was in my early 20s, I was like that, man. I was that skeptical loser who didn't have anything going on in my life, and I was depressed and all those things. And the only way that I got out of it was whenever I changed my mindset and I started thinking to myself, you know what? How can I learn to be able to achieve those numbers instead of just saying, you know what, those numbers are BS, they're not real, that's not even possible.
Yeah, it's not so much, and that's what a similar situation happened to me, and I think it actually spawned from your Periscope. I think it's the same guy. He's like, I popped on one of your Periscopes. He's like, oh, it's Jason No Numbers Brock,
Yes.
and he goes by, I don't even say his name, whatever. But so I'm like, okay. So I was like, cool, and I actually was messing around with my taxes at that point,
Mm.
and I was like, well, shoot, I'll just show you my return. So I shot a quick little video, and he was kind of deconstructing that, saying that it wasn't like, legitimate, like a BS. I was like, all right, whatever. So a couple months went by, and I'm making videos, and every video I make, this dude's like, hey, it's Jason No Numbers Brock on the comment, every time I do a video. So I'm like, ignore.
Mm.
About 20 times this happens. I'm like, all right, F it. So I got on, did a quick little screen flow, recorded my screen. I pulled up my tax return again, which, that doesn't lie. Like, Kindle, I mean, your numbers are obviously on point too. But I had them in, so I went line by line. This is what I made, boom, boom, boom. And then he was like, well, you should never respond to trolls on the internet. And I said, you know what, man? It doesn't matter, because this is my job. I consider, YouTube and this show, and this is me punching the clock going to work. And, I'm trying to help people, make money. I'm trying to help people live a good life. And when you come into my place of business acting like a damn asshole, I'm going to put you in your place and you're going to go home and I'm going to show you, hey, man, like I'm not like some of these cats out here that are BSing. You know, there are people that lie about what they're doing, and I'm not one of those guys, and you're not one of those guys, which is why I respect you. But so, yeah, typically, rule number one, you don't respond to the haters for the most part, or the trolls, or whatever you want to call them. But on certain occasions, you got to put your dick on the table and let them know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is my situation. Like, I earned it. And some people didn't like that I did that. Some people were like, cool, but whatever. So
one thing I give advice, if I could give one piece of advice to anyone who is in a situation like that, is just be unapologetically yourself. If you feel the need to have to defend yourself in a situation like that, go ahead and do it. Don't worry about what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
Even the biggest people, for example, Ty Lopez, who a lot of people probably know now, he gets 10 million times more haters than we do. And every once in a while, he jumps in and responds to them. And, people call his Lamborghinis and Ferraris rented and his mansion's fake and stuff like that. And every once in a while, he'll do something to show them, hey, this stuff's real. It's mine. I own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we all, to some degree, at some points have to kind of step in and say, you know what? I'm the real deal. Like, this is my stuff, and show it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You have to be unapologetically yourself. And I found myself at one point in why I kind of, with my video and content creation, which we were talking about, and I seen guys like Brendan Bouchard and all these guys with these cool, videos and production sets. I'm like, man, I need to be more like that. And I actually did. I mean, I actually shot one video with like a gray screen. I'm like, this isn't me.
I remember that.
This is not me. I feel like a freaking tool bag. Like, and I video still up there. It's whatever. I was trying to be all professional. I am professional. I do get shit done, but I do it in a different way. You know what I mean? I'm not, like one of these guys, and those guys are great. Don't get me wrong. But if you follow people, man, everybody has their own style. You have your own style. Ty Lopez, all these guys are doing it in a different way, and they're all connecting with people. So that's kind of the thing that I tell people, and I tell myself constantly. It's like, fuck it, I'm gonna be myself, dude. It doesn't matter if what I look like or what outfit I'm wearing. If I'm giving out good information and I'm coming from a place of like, let's help people out, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
So.
I'm the same exact way. I go through the same problems too, and I think anyone who's a content creator like us, you're probably going to go through that phase too, where you try to be like someone else because you see what they're doing. They have a large audience. You want to be more flashier, but truthfully, it never really felt right to me to try to do that. Every time I try to go that direction, I always regret it. So I'm kind of like you. I'm laid back, and I'm just going to be me and record the way I want to. I'm not someone who's into the fancy equipment and like cameras and things like that. Maybe eventually I'll upgrade. I don't know. But truthfully, my focus is just getting the content out there to people. And as far as making it look super pretty and nice and me wearing a freaking like suit or tuxedo or stuff, I don't know, dude. Like, whatever, having like the nice, pretty background. I'm not really worried about that now. Maybe in the future, but not right now. I'm just going to do me.
No, I love it, dude. You've got the easel behind you, and you're doing. How are you doing that? You're doing like training on your periscopes and stuff.
Yeah, I do once a week. I do a live webinar, which is actually a little bit different as far as compared to my live shows. The only difference is mainly that it's just a hardcore hour, 2 hours of me doing training, and
Right.
I use the pad back there to teach. I'm basically doing a session where I'm teaching people how to do something.
Cool, man, dude. Well, I like it, man. You're an inspiration to me, man, and I'll tell you that because we started out working together, and you kind of went through some of the stuff that I was teaching. But dude, you're teaching me stuff now, and I always tell people, man, like, I'm be humble, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I learned stuff from Mark Messick, 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't even like calling him a kid because he's like,
Yeah.
he's more mature than I am.
Yeah.
And so always be learning, man. Learn from everybody that you can learn from, dude. And always, I'm gonna put you on a spot right now, man. I wanna continue to have you on the show, man. Maybe do it a bi-weekly type of thing, and because I think you have some good stuff, dude. And we're just scratching the surface of it, man. So if you're on board, let me know. If you're not on board, then fuck it. I'm just not gonna publish any of this shit, dude. No.
Dude, I'm on board. I told you
Cool.
my strategy is the Pat Flynn strategy I learned from his be everywhere. I want to be as many places I can, reach as many people as I want to. So any chance, opportunity I get to put myself out there more, I'm going to take advantage of.
Cool, man. And your show, you're doing like a solo, right? Like you're not having guests on your show, are you?
I am going to have guests on. The approach that I took with that was I wanted to first figure out how to make everything work and as far as the setup goes and get things settled with that. And then I'm going to slowly start introducing guests into it as well.
Yeah, dude, I tried to do solo show. It's a lot of work, man. I commend you. Now, when you do your show, are you answering questions, or are you just kind of like shooting from the hip? Like, how are you doing that?
I'm answering questions.
Okay.
YouTube has a feature now when you do a live show that you can actually have people chat to you. There's a chat right there. So I'm actually taking the questions I'm getting from the chat on or I should say on YouTube. Also, questions I get from Periscope, and I talk a little bit. I usually prepare something that I want to talk about for that show, and then I answer a whole bunch of questions for people.
That's cool. I used to do that too, man. And that's when you're sharpening your skills, man. When you're just
Yes.
like knocking out questions and you don't have time to prepare. And so that's what got me pretty good and comfortable about making videos, man. Like none of my videos are like scripted. Like I don't like some people. Like I watch a lot of guys on YouTube that are great. They got scripted. You can tell they've got a teleprompter. It's great. Um, I'll be honest with you, I'm too damn lazy to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather just get on there and shoot from the hip and actually, but still give, I want to give some information out too.
Yeah.
But, so that's cool, dude. I'm going to definitely check your show out, and I think everybody needs to check your stuff out, and I'll have links on the website, selfmadeshow.com, in the YouTube description, on iTunes, all that stuff, so you guys can follow Dave, check out his coaching, because I know you're going to be popping that back up pretty soon, so by the time this airs, you'll probably have something ready for him, so I think that'll be cool. And guys, man, this guy is an inspiration to myself. I'm sure he's an inspiration to you because he's, shown what you can do in a year and a half, how far he's made it to, making a lot of money online, has a great mindset. And, it's been a pleasure having you on, Dave. And hopefully we can do this again in a couple of weeks or whatever. So.
Yeah, man. Thanks for definitely having me on. I definitely see us having a long friendship as far as, being able to interact with each other and do collaborations with each other. So I definitely plan on being on again and definitely would love to have you on my show as well.
Cool, man. All right, Dave. Well, I appreciate it, man. And you have a great day.
All right, man. You too. See you later.
All right, see you.